Hi, everyone. We would like to thank Schwartz Conference Leadership for this opportunity to be here with you today to present on the topic, Is compassion fatigue prevalent among clinical nurses? We are so honored to be here today. My name is Lina Najib Kawar. I am a nurse scientist at Kaiser Permanente, Southern California region, serving 15 medical hospitals. With me also is Miss Rosalina Mendoza. She's my friend and my colleague and my co-investigator. And I am so proud to introduce her because she is an eager bedside clinical nurse who partnered with me on this study and will be presenting part of this presentation. First, I would like to show a small clip from the movie called Wit. It might illustrate the compassion fatigue phenomena and highlight how clinicians become tense and it could compromise the patient care. Then I turn it to Rosalina for presentation.
The attention was flattering for the first 5 minutes.
Name?
My name. Vivian Baring.
Huh?
Baring. B-E-A-R-I-N-G. Vivian, V-I-V-I-A-N.
Doctor?
Yes, I have a PhD.
You're a doctor?
Oh, Dr. Harvey Kalikian. I am a doctor of philosophy.
Take a deep breath and hold it. Okay.
A scholar of 17th century poetry.
Arms above your head and hold it. Okay.
I have made an immeasurable contribution to the discipline of English literature. I am, in short, a force.
Okay, that's it.
Name?
Lucy, Countess of Bedford.
I don't see it here.
My name is Vivian Baring, B-E-A-R-I-N-G. Dr. Kalikian is my doctor.
Okay. Lie down. Thank you. Where's your wheelchair?
I do not know. I was busy just now.
Well, how are you gonna get out of here?
I could walk.
It's not permitted.
Well, I do not know. Perhaps you would like me to stay.
I guess I gotta go find you a chair.
Don't inconvenience yourself on my behalf.
Interesting clip, however, sad. It demonstrates the compassion fatigue context. Compassion fatigue is a phenomenon growing fast among different professionals, including nurses. Hello, my name is Rosalina Mendoza. According to Code C 2010, compassion fatigue is defined as emotional exhaustion due to severe and prolonged interaction with clients, use of self, and exposure to stress. According to the American Association of the Colleges of Nursing in 2019, registered nurses compose the largest group of healthcare workers in the country. Due to the nature of an empathetic, relationship-based care with patients and families, nurses can develop compassion fatigue if there is not balance. The impact of compassion fatigue on nurses can be profound and costly. As per the literature, job dissatisfaction among caregivers can cause decreased productivity and increased job turnover within the healthcare system. This study was designed to describe the self-reported prevalence of compassion fatigue, burnout, and compassion satisfaction among Baldwin Park Medical Center inpatient staff registered nurses. The research questions are the following. What is the extent of burnout and compassion fatigue for staff RN in the inpatient care setting? What is the relationship between compassion fatigue, burnout, and compassion satisfaction? And the last question is, what is the relationship between demographic data, such as age, education specialty or affiliated unit, and length of experience as staff RN, and compassion fatigue? This is a multi-site mixed method, exploratory, descriptive, cross-sectional, correlational design employed to answer the research question. This presentation is pertinent to Baldwin Park Medical Center data, and Baldwin Park was one of the 14 sites that participate in this large study. Only Kaiser Permanente inpatient registered nurses who are employed full-time, part-time, and per diem were invited to participate. Registered nurses such as in-leaders, nurse manager, travelers, educators, clinical nurse specialists were excluded. Also managers, project managers, improvement advisors, directors, and case managers were not included. Data collection was completed using SurveyMonkey on demographics and the Professional Quality Life Scale, also known as ProQual. The ProQual is a valid, reliable 30-item tool that has 3 subscales: compassion fatigue, burnout, and compassion satisfaction. Each subscale has 10 items, a 5-point Likert scale ranging from 1, which is never, to 5, which is very often. The procedure started upon the approval of IRB. Staff RN at Baldwin Park Medical Center were invited to participate in this study using the 3 recruitment methods: via posting of flyers in the inpatient nurses lounge and nurses stations, inviting registered nurses to participate in the study with web link to the site. An email was sent upon distribution of the survey inviting nurses to participate. Nurses received email at the 30 days mark as a reminder from the local co-investigator to encourage participation. Then a second email reminder was sent after 2 months from the beginning of data collection. The survey closed after 4 months from the start. If requested by the staff registered nurse group, a regional primary investigator presented the study verbally at local staff meeting. Now for the data analysis, Dr. Kawar will present.
So descriptive statistics of demographics, levels of compassion fatigue and burnout, and compassion satisfaction were computed. Also, correlations were used to explore relationships between the demographics and the ProQual subscales. T-test and ANOVA employed also to examine the differences between and among groups. The sample consisted of 93 inpatient RNs, representing 18.5% of the total nurse population of Baldwin Park Medical Center. The mean age of those nurses was above 41 years and ranged from 24 to 66 years. The RN experience mean was above 13 years and it ranged from 1 to 43 years. The length working at Baldwin Park Medical Center was above 8 years and it ranged from 0 to 35 years. 82% of those RNs were RNs and 60% were working full-time, 50% were mid-surge nurses, 74% were female, 64% had BSN in nursing, 48% they worked day shift, and 83% were 12-hour shift. 40% were Asian Pacific Islander, and 45% provided care to a sick family member during data collection. So based on STAM 2010 validation criteria, this sample scored average on the 3 ProQual subscales. STAM's criteria has 3 levels. Scores to 22 and less considered low, 23 to 41% considered average, and 42 and above were high scores. The mean for the compassion fatigue in this sample, we can see that it was 24.19, and for burnout, it was 23.10, corresponding with low average scores. While the mean for compassion satisfaction was 39.88, almost 40, leveling at high average rather than low average. And we can see on this table the three levels by STEM. Now, we did some correlations on certain demographics, and that correlation showed that there was a strong positive correlation between age and RN experience, and also between age and length working at the facility. There was a strong positive association between RN experience and years working at the facility as well. Due to the high association between these three variables, RN experience was chosen for further testing and correlation with the Procwell. So we see that the correlation with the three subscales of Procwell yielded the following. Significant positive intermediate correlation between compassion fatigue and burnout at 0.57, and there was a significant negative intermediate association between compassion fatigue and compassion satisfaction at minus 0.437. And there was a significant inverse high correlation between burnout and compassion satisfaction at minus 0.811. That's exactly what you want to see, because compassion fatigue and burnout, they are similar. However, they're different, but they are opposite of compassion satisfaction, and that's why you should see an inverse correlation. But there was no significant correlation between compassion fatigue, burnout, compassion satisfaction, and years of experience as an RN. So one-way ANOVA showed significant results only on nurses' position between clinical nurses and in-charge nurses. And clinical nurses had higher levels of burnout compared to the in-charge relief nurses. Also, position on compassion fatigue was almost significant for the position, although scoring for all those three subscales was at average range. This table illustrates the significant results of one-way ANOVA. The clinical nurses had higher mean than the relief charge nurses, as we can see here, for burnout at 23.63 compared to 19.09 at P level of 0.0118. And for position and compassion fatigue, the P was almost there, almost significant. So we can see that also the clinical nurse had higher mean compared to the relief charge nurse at 0.059. So it didn't make it, but almost was significant. Now, there were additional findings, although the scoring was in the average level for the three subscales. We found out that 33% of the clinical nurses are considered at high risk for compassion fatigue. 30% of those nurses might be at risk for burnout. 31.2% clinical nurses seem to show compassion satisfaction, and that is great. 32%, almost 31%, almost had compassion satisfaction. So overall, Baldwin Park Medical Center nurses scored low average on compassion fatigue and burnout. However, they scored high average on compassion satisfaction. Clinical nurses exhibited higher burnout scores compared to the relief in charge nurses, and clinical nurses might have higher compassion fatigue scores compared to the relief in charge nurses. So our recommendations are for those nurse leaders, managers, and charge nurses to continue supporting the clinical nurses in building strong supportive environment to help in identify compassion fatigue and burnout early. Also to implement strategies available in the literature and are suitable for Baldwin Park Medical Center culture to increase compassion satisfaction and mitigate compassion fatigue and burnout occurrence. For future research, we would like to investigate the strategies relief in-charge nurses might exhibit that they can share to rejuvenate the new clinical nurses. Also, we can examine relief in-charge nurses' role, effect on compassion fatigue, burnout, and compassion satisfaction. Also design further studies to investigate other strategies that might mitigate compassion fatigue and burnout, and continue the research to examine the implemented strategies and its sustainability. With that, I would like to end with the following quote by Alison Masri. Compassion heals the places that medicine cannot touch. And those are our references for this presentation and research study. And we would like to encourage you at the end, if you have any questions, to email us, and we would love to answer you. And thank you so much for your participation in this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.